All right, folks, day 3 of NBA free agency in the books. It's done. Actually, it's 7:30 p.m. It's not done. There's no timetable when it ends. But this is when I'm doing this ramble because we had some big updates today. Some big things have happened that I feel like I need to get on here and I need to discuss, okay? In one of the biggest sweepstakes we can ever possibly remember, Deandre Ayton sweepstakes have come to a conclusion. It's Hakeem Olajuwon, folks. It's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal reinvented. Just a locked-in Deandre Ayton. Can we just get a locked-in Deandre Ayton, please? Let's start here. The Knicks are expected to land 2-time NBA head coach of the year, Mike Brown, to be the franchise's next head coach. Congratulations to Mike Brown, back on his feet. Not even a calendar year after getting fired. Congratulations, Mike Brown. My thing with coaches is it's just like, I don't know. I don't really have strong opinions one way or the other on coaching changes and stuff like that because realistically, there's no way we know. We're not in there. We're not in the locker room. We don't really understand what's going on. Mike Brown has a pretty good track record, 2-time coach of the year. I remember Knicks fans didn't like Tom Thibodeau when he first got there. Mavs fans didn't like Jason Kidd when he first got there. Now he's one of the best coaches in the league. You never really know with this stuff. So I don't really like talking about coaches, assistant coaches, changes like that, the coaching carousel. For me, I don't know. It just feels like you really just say, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see because that's really the only answer you have to any of the coaching stuff. Now, it's been announced that Frank Vogel will be locked in as an assistant coach for Jason Kidd. Look, guys, I think this is one of the best moves of the offseason by any team. I mean, full stop. Like, you need to have as many coaches that have championship pedigree with you as possible. And it's why I think coaching staffs and having a good coaching staff is one of the most important things. And so I do think this is one of the most important topics for us to talk about today. And, I do have strong opinions on this. I feel as though, guys, that was a bit. Get it? I'm going to stand on business. I don't, the assistant coaching stuff, I haven't cared all summer, really, when it was like, the Mavs are losing everyone. In my brain, when that was happening, I was like, that sounds like a good thing. Like if every team in the league is trying to poach your assistant coaches, I feel like that means you got a pretty good coaching staff more than anything else. And that's kind of been reaffirmed. Sweeney got upgraded. Dudley is the lead assistant in Denver now. Hey, shout out to Jose Juan Brea as well. It sounds like Shammgod's getting, real attention from other teams across the league. So the Mavs built a good coaching staff. That's what that meant to me. I didn't read too much into it. Vogel was with the team last year, and now he's really with the team. He was more of a, what's that called? A consultant last year, and now he has a real spot. I mean, we'll see. I don't know. It sounds good to me, but I'm not going to spend too much time on it. As of the time I'm recording this and something might happen, it sounds like the Pistons are scheming up on something with the Kings. The Dennis Schroeder stuff, which last night or a couple nights ago sounded as though it might turn into a sign and trade for Malik Monk. That talk kind of died down. It looked like the Malik Monk contract was just going to be signed outright, but now it sounds as though the trade and the sign and trade talks are picking back up significantly. This will allow the Pistons to take back up to $22.6 million, or will create a player exception worth $14.3 million if they don't take a player back. This could be Malik Monk, and if this is the case, there was some reporting that the Kings were trying to get Dennis Schroeder and Russell Westbrook, but them not able to trade away Malik Monk in that sign and trade kind of put a kibosh on that. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, what the fuck? What are the Kings doing? What are they doing? You were going to sign and trade Malik Monk, the best player out of the group, for Schroeder and Russ? Okay, that sounds idiotic to me, but maybe we just really, really overvalue some of these guards. Like we've seen it so far this offseason, how these kind of I need the ball in my hand guards, and Monk can play off ball and stuff, but I need the ball in my hand guards who are not good at all defensively. The league just tosses them into the fucking trash. All right, we've seen that. So maybe we're overvaluing those guys, but I don't know. That seems like a puzzling decision to me on the Kings' part if this were to be the case. Now, what's interesting is this means the Pistons could go after somebody with that trade exception. I scrolled down just a bit just to see what was up, right? Just to see what was going on. For the 25-26 NBA season, PJ Washington is set to earn a base salary of $14.1 million. Wait, they think they're getting PJ Washington? You stay away from him. You stay away. So let's see where this goes. All right, because this is clearly headed somewhere. I don't think they go back to this unless the Pistons have something in mind. And maybe it's just Malik Monk, right? Or maybe the Pistons have their eyes set. And I'm trying to think. PJ Washington, you want to play ball? You want to talk? You want to talk? I mean, I'm thinking Jaden Ivey. Like, that's where my mind goes. If you really want to go there, Pistons. Like, that's where my mind goes to. That's where I elevate to. First and foremost, guys, if you're watching this video, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. All right, make sure you get subscribed to the channel. I want you guys to leave this comment. All right, let's get into the biggest news of the day. Dante Exum is going to return to the Dallas Mavericks, which is interesting for a handful of reasons. Reason number one, it's good to have Dante Exum back, more ball handlers, and they did kind of need a guy like this that could sort of be a point of attack defender guy, and just a guy who put the ball in his hands. He's going to get the offense set and push the pace offensively, get guys the basketball where they need it. Okay, obviously he's somebody who's been hurt for a lot. Was hurt a lot last year as well. So hopefully he stays healthy, but this is a minimum deal. I love it. The Mavs roster is stupidly deep. I mean, 1 through 15, there's not really a bad player on the team. All guys are guys who I think could have arguments to get rotational minutes. So they have a good roster and a very well-balanced and deep roster. But now what's very interesting about this is the Mavericks, as it stands currently, have 16 guaranteed contracts. So they need to trade somebody here to get open up the spot for Dante Exum, and they can't just cut a guy because they need to skirt the second apron. So this means somebody's going to get moved at some point. You can carry, I think it was 20 contracts up until training camp, so it doesn't have to be in the immediate future. But this does mean somebody like Omax, somebody like Hardy, potentially Caleb Martin. I don't know. I'd be shocked if it's Dwight Powell, but somebody's going to be on the move for Dallas. So just be on the lookout for that. I'm not expecting anything too crazy, but the Mavs will have to make a trade to make this happen, and we'll see what that looks like. And then the biggest news of the day, obviously, is the Deandre Ayton sweepstakes have reached their conclusion. I saw some people say this, and hey, maybe this is true. Maybe this is true that if the Deandre Ayton sweepstakes are making or breaking your offseason, something's gone terribly wrong. And hey, maybe that is the case, right? You're talking about somebody who was a former number 1 overall pick. You're talking about somebody who, I mean, this is actually kind of insane. I saw somebody say, like I was just kind of like, poo-pooing this a tiny bit. People are like, no, you don't understand, man. Ayton's averaged a double-double his entire career. And I was like, he really has averaged a double-double every single season of his career. 16 and 10 career averages. And I think that's kind of the Ayton dilemma. Now, first and foremost, let me start here. Shams embarrassed himself here, but that's to be expected, right? I mean, the agents say it. You got to do it. Let's just start with the fact that, what a bizarre... He's getting $8 million from the Lakers this year, okay? After his buyout with the Blazers, which they bought him out for $26 million. So he's getting $8 million. Do some quick math. That leads you to 34. Now, instead of saying the Lakers are signing him $8 million, they had to do this bizarre word salad of it's like, he's making $34 million. I saw that originally. I was like, wait, what the fuck's going on? I was like, whoa, what? How much are the Lakers? And I was like, oh, he's doing this thing where it's combined. All right. So that's just agent speak. Bill Duffy, who is also Luka Doncic's agent as well. And it does sound like this is a Lou GM move. There's been reports that Luka's been very involved this offseason, and this was one of their guys. And then there's this tweet as well. The Lakers find their starting center in 8 and the 2018 number 1 overall pick, who is the only player in NBA history to average 15-plus points and 60% shooting in the postseason. They literally sent his ass on a side quest. They sent Shams Charania on a side quest at Basketball Reference to just be like, hey, just find a stat, DeAndre Ayton's number 1, and then just post it. Or else I'm not giving you the scoop. So Shams had to run to fucking Basketball Reference to find that stat. Unbelievable. So anyways, yeah, DeAndre Ayton to the Lakers. Again, $8 million, 2 years, $16 million deal, something along those lines with a player option in the second year. Where do I want to go here? Let me start by saying this. Rob Pelinka's terrible at his job. Okay. He's one of the worst GMs in the league. I stand on that, and I continue to stand on that. I think he's the luckiest GM in the league, and people are like, Nico. Yeah, Nico's lucky as well, and he's also probably bad. So I don't know what you're trying to get at there. Rob Pelinka is actually the luckiest GM in the league. Things just fall into his lap, and things fall ass backwards into him, right? The Luka Doncic trade, obviously. I mean, LeBron wanting to go to LA and wanting to bring his friend Anthony Davis with him. And now DeAndre Ayton getting bought out, and the option being there to get him for $8 million. Now, this could be something that was in the pipeline for a bit, right? But I'd be a little hard pressed to imagine the Blazers didn't at least attempt to see if there was a market out there for Ayton trade wise. That way they could get something in return, and clearly there wasn't because they bought him out. So this let Rob cook. Now, what am I doing? I'm a man of many hats. Wait, hold on a second. Let Rob cook. let Rob Pelinka cook, but also let Rob Lowe, who also looks very much like Rob Pelinka, cook. And when we let Rob Lowe cook, we get this right here. And when we let Slightly Biased cook, we get this. Like I said, I'm a man of many hats. So the Ayton thing. Now, before anybody assumes anything or thinks that I'm hating for the sake of hating the Lakers, go to my Twitter, @BiasSlightly, and just search Ayton in the search bar and then just have a fun time scrolling. I'm not an Ayton person at all. I think, he's 16-10 guy. I think if you watch basketball, watch the Blazers play any game, even towards the end there with the Suns, if you watch, you walk away thinking to yourself, you look at the box and you're like, what the fuck? Ayton had 16 and 12? Like, that's the type of impact Ayton has at times. I think at $36 million, that's bad. I think at $8 million, that's pretty damn good. I think when Jackson Hayes, who is horrible, who's deplorably bad, was your starting center a year ago, this is a ginormous upgrade. So I think it is a huge win for the Lakers, right? Now, Chris Haynes had a funny tweet that was like, the Lakers got their building blocks for the future and Luka and Ayton. And I'm like, all right, can we chill the fuck out, please? Can we please chill out? With that being said, I don't think this is like a building block thing. I think this is a stopgap move. And even if Ayton has a great season, I would be pretty hesitant to pay him a lot of money just because of the track record Ayton has. The Lakers have the number 1 pick and the number 3 pick in the 2018 NBA draft. Significant building blocks for now in the future. All right, so there you go. But there is a chance Ayton has a really good season playing alongside Luka Doncic and LeBron James, pick and rolls. And I will say, it's not like Ayton's this world-altering screener. I think that's part of his problem as a player. He's not somebody who embraces physicality. It's always been very frustrating for a player of his size with his athleticism. The motor's just terrible. This is historically known. He has a historically terrible motor. And his shyness when it comes to contact is, infuriating for a player of his size. And this has been the case his whole career. So I don't think you're going to get like monstrous screens or anything like that, but it'll do the job. And he's a mid-range maestro, especially for somebody his size. So the pick and pop, the little push shots and the hooks from the, on short rolls and stuff like that will be really good next to Luka. And obviously he can finish above the rim and stuff like that. So I do think this will be a great pick and roll pairing. If you just look at throughout his career, as the pick and roll guy, you see a trend here. When Chris Paul came to the team in 2021, that was Chris Paul's first year with the Phoenix Suns. Deandre Ayton, 1.39 points per possession as a pick and roll guy. That was the third best in the league. He was the third best pick and roll guy in the league that year. 9th the year after that. And then he gets traded and goes to a place where they don't really have, a guard to speak of, or at least, a solidified solid guard, especially one like Chris Paul, is one of the greatest pick and roll maestros the league's ever seen. Those numbers dip off significantly. You're going to a place now that has Luka Doncic and LeBron James. But Luka Doncic is one of the best pick and roll guys the league's ever seen. LeBron James is also incredible in the pick and roll. Reeves is a good pick and roll playmaker as well. So you're going to a place where you're going to get a lot of opportunity that way. And what is interesting is you are getting a guy who, again, historically, especially playing next to Chris Paul and stuff like that, a guy who has shown flashes of being like a post-up guy who can really exploit mismatches. The career numbers really aren't the greatest here. But he did have 1 year, 2022, again, with the Suns, with Chris Paul, where he was top 10 as a post-up guy in terms of like efficiency relative to league average. So that's kind of a unique thing next to Luka. I've seen this argument get tossed around a bit lately, that this is the best. I've had people telling me in my chat and in my mentions, like, this is the best center Luka's ever played with. That's just horribly wrong, right? Is it the most talented offensive center Luka's ever played with? Sure. Yeah, I think you can make the argument KP is up there as well if you want to classify KP as a center. Dirk, you want to classify Dirk as a center? Dirk's a power forward, and also was a peepaw whenever Luka was there, obviously. But the thing about Ayton is, like I said earlier, it's just a different. The stats just do not relay what your eyes will tell you whenever you watch Deandre Ayton play basketball. Now, maybe he can be motivated, right? Maybe you're getting a motivated Ayton because he can opt out of that and play next to Luka and put up stats and have a big impact. And maybe the Lakers are really good and you're a big reason for that. And now you can opt out and be a free agent in the summer. So there's some motivation there to lock in and really hunker down and, play well. But I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to go with what history tells me. He's not been a very positive player, especially defensively. In quite some time, he's been a net negative defensively 4 out of the last 5 seasons. Again, playing in Portland for some of those, I don't know how much you want to put stock into that, but it does kind of match the eye test that, DeAndre Ayton's not like this uber impactful player. Now, he was very good during the Suns finals run, right? And where Ayton gets you defensively is somebody who can be a little more active on the perimeter on switches, right? Can play a little bit higher on screens. You don't have to resort to playing Ayton in like some deep drop. And his rim protection numbers aren't that good anyways. This is really like an offensive pick and roll fit for Luka and for the Lakers, because Luka needs a guy like that, absolutely. I just don't, like, defensively, I don't really know what to expect. So it goes back to, like, is this the best center Luka's ever played with? Talent-wise, maybe. This guy was the first overall pick, for Christ's sake. And what was at the time considered, because I went back and I looked at this, just to, like, refresh my mind on the 2018 draft, and what was at the time considered a loaded draft. And Ayton was, like, consensus number 1 guy. Like Patrick Ewing, like, there was big-time comparisons for Ayton. So he's a very talented player. Like, that's never really been up for debate for him. But best, like, I think Lively's just a much better player than DeAndre Ayton is, just off the rip. Like, if we were just to do vacuum in a vacuum, like if it was just for this season, do you think the Mavericks would do an Ayton for Lively swap? Just for, like, this year. Like, take age, take money, take everything out of it. Just for this year being good. You think the Mavs would do that? Absolutely. I don't even think they would do Gafford for Ayton swap. I don't even know if they would do Dwight Powell. I'm just joking. Actually, I don't know if they would. They love Dwight Powell. But it all kind of comes back to this for me. $8 million. Why the fuck not? Why not? I will say it's never a good thing whenever a player leaves and then the 2 places he was previously at, Portland, Phoenix, you look at their fans' reaction to it and it's just, good luck, guys. Best of luck. That's never a great sign. But again, if it's just 1 year of Ayton locking in, that's good enough for the Lakers. $8 million. That played out. That panned out. In fact, you know what? Not even that. Like, you don't even have to get a locked-in DeAndre Ayton. If DeAndre Ayton just gives you what he's been giving, right? If you're just getting, hey, you're going to get 15 and 10 out of me. 15 and 10, I'll block a shot a game. That's what you're going to get out of me. And I'll even have some moments where I'm just not locked in and I'm not focused. Maybe my car gets stuck in the driveway and I don't make it to the game. At $8 million, that's even worth it. So it's a low risk, I would say high reward move for the Lakers. I don't think this should hinder their search for a center. I'm sure, there's reports that they're interested in Al Horford. That could be interesting. That would be, a significant front court upgrade going from Hayes and Alex Lynn and Christian Wood, Maximilian Kleba. Who else was getting minutes was Trey Jemison getting minutes for them? To go from that to Horford and Ayton would be nice, right? That's a very significant upgrade, especially come playoff time with Horford. We'll see how that pans out. It sounded to me like he was going to the Warriors guaranteed. We'll see what happens there. Also, I do want to point this out with Ayton, with dominating. The career trajectory is not kind, and I just don't know how often you see a massive sort of flip on this stuff. And I don't know, Darko and stuff like that, but it's not kind. The trend here of Ayton's career. And if you're not a Darko person, which, I don't know if I am either, but EPM has sort of the similar thing. Just his impact has steadily declined over his career. So we'll see if he can turn that around. He's also not a guy who's been like uber healthy over the last couple of years. But again, $8 million is what we're talking about here. It's 100% worth it. 100% that's worth it for $8 million, right? Easily. Now, I don't think, I think the Lakers should still be active in the trade market. If tomorrow, for whatever reason, the Jazz are like, you know what, fine, we'll do Kessler. You should do it. Signing Ayton at $8 million should not limit you from making a aggressive move for a center, right? And we'll see what else the Lakers do. They say they want to have clean money for 2027. This contract allows them to do that. They gave LaRavia 2 years. So far, their actions in free agency show us that. We'll see if they go after somebody like Wiggins. I've seen that tossed around quite a bit. A Wiggins trade, that could be interesting for them. That fits a need. We'll see how aggressive they want to be moving forward. But there's reports that Luka's going hard. Lou GM is in full swing And I just got a Twitter notification, actually. Dallas Mavericks player development coach Shammgod has agreed to join the Orlando Magic. No. Oh, I told you guys, man. Assistant coaches, this is a huge fucking deal. This actually does suck. Everyone loves Shammgod. So, how often do you see like I do have a question to ask as we round out this video. How often, like, this feels like the most publicized assistant coach carousel I've ever seen for the Mavs. Am I wrong? Has this not been a little crazy? How publicized? Like, I feel like assistants leaving is a common thing, but I don't know. So Shammgod will be missed. That sucks. He receives a larger role in Orlando. Again, this is what like when you build a rock solid staff and these guys get, poached and get promotions on other teams, there's only so much you can do. I know everybody wants this to be a symptom of like some horrible wrongdoing the team is doing. And yeah, the team might be rotten to its core, but assistant coaches getting promotions elsewhere, I don't know if that's a symptom of that, really. I think that's just a sign that you had a good assistant coaching staff more than anything else. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later.